Crafting and growing alchemy stones is now easier than ever in Black Desert with all of the new updates to life skilling. Just getting the materials alone can net you a fortune, while crafting the stone can make a billion if you're lucky. Welcome back to the channel all about life skilling. My name is Teddy, and today I'll be showing you how to make those alchemy stones to start growing them into the sturdy or sharp. These little stones can make a huge difference in every aspect of the game, from mob grinding to life skilling. There's a stone for everyone. If you've been curious on how to craft your own alchemy stones, or just wondering what goes into it, grab a cup of coffee and get your alchemy materials together. We're creating alchemy stones in Black Desert Online. Being able to craft your own alchemy stones without needing to touch the central market can make a huge difference when it comes to looking at the prices and the amounts of the pre-orders that are already waiting. Though mainly relying on RNG and a lot of materials, if lucky, a single stone can make 100 mil onwards. Now, crafting the alchemy stones to use, or just to sell, it can be extremely easy with a few alchemy materials and your own alchemy tools at any house. This will require beginner 1 alchemy to start crafting, but most of the materials needed can be obtained through life skilling. To get started making the alchemy stones, the recipe will require 10 shining powder, 3 sinner's blood, 5 powder of time, 10 powder reagent, and lastly 10 clear liquid reagent. Besides the shining powder, which has to be obtained from simply performing alchemy, the other ingredients have to be made using alchemy or can be bought off the central market. There's 2 things to keep in mind when making these. Crafting the alchemy stones has 3 possible stones that can be obtained randomly when crafting, this being destruction, protection, and life. Let me know in the comments below if you guys bother making alchemy stones for the sharps, or if you guys don't even bother wasting the silver on these. Also, while you're down there, be sure to leave a like if you're enjoying all the life skilling updates in general. I know I have, and it has sped up a lot of my life skilling processes. But now, let's just get into making these stones. I'll be trying to make 60 stones, with it being completely random, but having a couple stones to try with can make a couple hundred depending on the stone and overall luck you have. I'm not sure if having higher mastery or alchemy level matters, but we're gonna try to use my silver embroidered. Just crafting the stones alone is one of the fastest part of all of this, with failing to grow the stone and the enhancement level dropping being the fastest aspect. It shouldn't be too bad with having multiple stones to try with though. I like to have 10 of each just to try. As this finishes up, it's time to check all the damages and the stones I've managed to craft. Having a good amount to try with, it's time to head to a storage manager to waste all of those materials. To get any stone worth using or selling, there's a couple ways to make money with the stones once you have them. Crafted alchemy stones can be processed down using grinding for alchemy stone shards. These can sell for 1 mil a pop or can be used for alchemy. I plan to save mine just to show you how to use them later on. The other way these can make money is with the better grade stones like Sturdy or the Sharp. To do this, however, requires the stones to be polished, and depending on the type of stone depends on the type of materials needed. To do this can be done by opening your inventory and selecting the stone option here. This option will open the alchemy stone UI. Here you can recharge a stone if the durability is down using the select materials like oils, blood, and mythic spirit powder. The next option is polish. This is where we spend most of our time and materials to increase the experience using the stones and materials it requires. Destruction requires ingots and pure metals. Protection uses plywood and sturdy plywood, while life stones require either high quality or special quality crops from farming. The higher quality polishing material you use, the more experience the stone receives. Once the stone hits 100%, it can be grown. Now, pushing the stone to 150% will increase the chances of it growing. The last option here is growth. You can increase the grade and the tier of the stone at the cost of black stones and the experience on the stone. You can either choose armor black stones or weapon black stones. This side will show you which stone you have a chance of getting at a small chance. And with all the life skilling updates that have come out since the stones have been released, processing the metals and lumber can now be done faster using mass processing, the shared storage, and the Venesil costume. But now that the stones are ready to be polished and grown, I'll speed this up and won't bother showing the polishing process. This can be a little hit or miss with luck being a factor, but like stated before, if you're doing everything with gathering everything needed, it won't hurt the savings, but buying all the materials can range from 50 mil to 200 mil, and that's just to tier up a stone. Remember, this is going to take a lot of tries to get those really good stones. I keep trying with the life alchemy stones, and still I have yet to get lucky to get a sharp. I did manage to make a sturdy though, but I feel like I can get something easier using destruction stones. And because I'm creating the destruction stones, I'll be selling the ones I managed to get, and the ones that were a bust, I'm just going to grind down for the alchemy stone shards that are going to be needed later on. With a good supply of metal ingots, this is an easy process, but will eat most of all of them. I do have more materials and high enough processing master to speed up everything when I do run out. A thing to keep in mind when throwing all the supplies into your inventory, you can polish the stones while being overweight, but you can't do the grow process. This will slow down everything a little, but with the shared storage, you won't have to run around to go gather everything. After getting all the stones grown to rough alchemy stones, I'll attempt these ones and hope I can get at least 200 mil worth. It's a shame there's no better way to do this, but since I've had workers out mining all week constantly, I do have free materials to try. As for the black stones needed, with searching for the map pieces and having the new Wusa class release, it's been easy to get a good supply of all those stones, and I can easily have them replaced when I use them up. And if you want to come hang out with me while I gather all the supplies needed, or just search for those rare drops, you can always find me over on Twitch where I stream Black Desert or other games every week, Monday to Friday. But getting back into the material sink in progress, with all the other stones enhanced up to polish, I can either choose to keep going or call it here, but with the value not being high enough to make a good profit, I'll keep going. Switching over to copper, I have more, but supplies less experience. Luckily, it won't eat up too much of the materials right now, though when you start getting into higher, it will eat more. There are better alchemy stones that can be made but require different materials and higher alchemy level to make, which is a whole beast of a process to get. Doing this, however, is easier with a chance of a huge fortune if you have higher luck. Now that I have them all mostly to sturdy, it's time to repeat the process, hoping to get better stones with this new batch. The best way to do this is to keep building up the failed stones and trying. I think the worst part about all of this is the whole polishing and then growing process. I tend to get confused and click buttons a little bit too much. I wish there was a way to go ahead and streamline this. Luckily, I do have a good amount of blues, so I can try to get a yellow, and the yellow for a higher grade stone if I get lucky on the growth. Anything yellow will always sell for a lot more, with the higher grade yellows being a lot more. I could probably make 400 mil if I'm lucky. And if I ever complained about RNG not treating me great or getting those good mob grinding drops, here it is. That may have been all my luck, but at least I know that'll go ahead and take care of any material cost if I did go ahead and spend. And if anyone can tell me if these are great to use while hunting, I'd rather use these instead of the spirit stones, especially when trying to repair them. Not being able to repair the spirit stones is a little difficult, and having to go out mob grinding for them is a little inconvenient when I don't have an ult setup for it yet. The hardest part of growing all of this has to be trying to get the polish grown. Every time I try, I don't seem to get anything good. My main goal is trying to get those green grown into blue and blue into yellow, but I can't even get these grown. After all this, I will try my luck getting those Life Alchemy Stones grown, and maybe if I get even luckier, I can get one of those Sharp Alchemy Stones grown too. I can just see now that this is gonna cost me a lot of materials and a lot of money trying to buy them. With this last batch grown, there's only one last chance to see if I can increase the fortune or the level, but with all my materials being eaten up and still no luck, it's time to check to see how much I've made for all of this. Starting off with the yellow grade sturdy, this can be listed for 400 mil. This was extremely lucky and will cover all of the cost of materials if you're buying them. Moving on to the blue grade, these can make a nice 363 mil, which again can cover the cost of materials. The green grade sturdy alchemy stones all will make just about 207 mil. These are perfect for trying to grow higher or grinding down for those alchemy shards if needed. The only rough alchemy stone to not want to grow can be listed for 50 mil, but I plan to try my luck later. I've had my wizard already processing down more materials for that. For sticking around this long, here's a little bonus tip to help speed up crafting those alchemy stones. Setting up your residence can help speed up crafting, polishing, and growing the stones. Using 1 second alchemy will have the stones crafted relatively quickly. If you want to see how to do this, click the video up in the top corner or the link will be in the description down below. Completing the Magna storyline will unlock the shared storage between the regions, removing the need to head to each storage or wait for the materials to be transported. With the shared storage comes the personal storage containers that can be rented for 10 contribution points points at every storage keeper. One can also be bought from the pearl shop for those who don't wish to spend the 10 contribution points, but these will cost pearls. The storage containers are able to access other regions like the storage manager and should be set up next to your alchemy tool. If choosing to buy your ingredients from the central market, having a lot of transaction maids will come in handy. These also apply to grabbing the materials you need if you don't have a personal storage chest. Lastly, when it comes to the materials needed, most of them can be gathered using workers throughout the week. When it comes to the life skill stones, needing farms which can be tended to by the workers or having an alt setup will speed up the process. While not being able to make millions instantly, with a little luck and a lot of materials, making a billion is easy to do when it comes to destruction stones. Of course, the life alchemy stones will require more expensive materials with needing a farm, and can take extremely longer. I cannot suggest doing this as your main source of money making, but it can be a good way to use those extra shining powders. And as always, this is not meant to be the best alchemy guide, nor is it a way to show you how to make the most money instantly. This is just to show you how to get those alchemy stones started, and you should just enjoy the game at your own pace. Now, getting all the ingredients were relatively easy, but having to perform the alchemy needed to get a good amount of the powder really slowed me down, and the new updates to life scaling really put a whole speed bump in making this video. I do apologize on how long it took me to make this episode, and I'll do better to get these episodes out quicker. But if you want to see another way to make money in Black Desert Online, or just want to start leveling those life skills quicker, click this video here, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.